Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to my Draw With Me series that I just started today. This is going to be my first sketch. This sketch is just of a Valentine's boy with dressed up in ribbons and kind of like a Cupid art style. I got the inspiration because, I love drawing holiday stuff. But originally, this was supposed to be a bunny boy, like a boxer, like a kind of like an angry, rowdy, rough bunny boy. But as you can see with the ears that I'm drawing right now, I did attempt. He started off as a bunny boy, but I've drawn this pose a lot, or not a lot, but one other time, and I wanted to do something more rowdy, rough. So. I initially wanted to do boxing gloves, but you could see I'm a Taurus and I really like organic things. And as I draw, you could see that I kind of lean more toward letting this piece tell me where to go, where it wants to go, or this character tell me where he wants me or who he is, right? Anyways, yeah, right here I'm just drawing the body, just laying in some general foundation. Oh, that was my brother, he called me. I had a hard time drawing this right eye. It took me a couple attempts. I would draw it too big, but then I eventually settled on a nice, subtle looking eye. Because at first I wanted him to have a lot of life, because he's a bunny boy, you know? And that's usually how I start my drawings. They have a lot of energy, and then I usually reduce it as time goes on to a more, like, refined emotion, like a more stoic or not peaceful, but, like, content. Yeah, so right here I like where the eye is going, so I start to... Because at first I like to draw a general sense of where I'm going, but then I lock all those details in once I feel confident in them, and I start to put a little bit more pressure on my pencil. Yeah, I have a really fun time drawing cheeks too. The outer cheek is like where I like to start usually, if not the inner eyes, with the darkness first. Yeah, I draw the pupil. And then that's usually the hardest part is, the face, trying to get all that correct, because I think that's the focal point of any character drawing. Well, in my opinion, with my pieces, at least how I think. And then once I get that done, everything kind of builds itself after that. But once I get to see the character's face, I can see who he is. I get to judge him and his personality based on his features. Even though that may not be his personality, that's the thing I like about art is you get to create and control, the character that you are envisioning or coming up with. But at the same time, it is really organic in the fact that the character also kind of tells you who he is, which is kind of psychotic to hear, but I don't know, I like it. Yeah, so I really fell in love with these eyes. I'm going in with more detail, doing the eyebrows. This is one of my favorite parts in drawing too, by the way. As you see in the beginning, I was holding my pencil kind of far away to get like a really light strokes. And these light strokes are like initial guidelines. For example, I could do 3 strokes next to each other, but only one of them will make the final cut. And that one is the one that felt most organic to the piece. And the final cut is where I go in with like these dark, heavy lines right here. Now this left arm, I was having a struggle placing the position of it because right now it's up, but it's incongruent with his shoulder. It's too long, it's too far out there. It doesn't make sense with the rest of his like kind of stagnant body. So I decided to move on from that from now and just kind of like do the rest as I could do. Right here you see me attempt to kind of like put that arm down. know, I'm just going through options, right? This is like the 3 options things I was talking about, and then seeing which one's most organic, and I don't know, going with that one. But I do like the ribbon idea. Going into this one, I did want ribbons to be like his thing. And I think, yeah, he still has the bunny aesthetic, but those are just placeholders. Those are just letting the character tell me who he is, just in case I want to go with the bunny design or not. But right here on the neck, I like the ribbon so much that I think I start to lean away from the bunny aesthetic. Although bunny and Valentines do go hand in hand, but for this one later, he tells me that he doesn't have bunny ears, because I draw bunny ears a lot, and eventually they'd all just be a bunch of characters with bunny ears. It would make no sense. There has to be some more diversity of thought or options. I really like this ribbon on his torso, though. It's a really intimate place to put a ribbon. You know, it tells you that it's a little more almost like a coming of age type of placement. Right here is where I decide, because I gave him a big diaper before. I don't know, I just enjoyed the silhouette of that. But I decided to give a smaller one because he seemed more mature, but he's still in costume and he's still playing Cupid. And so I gave him like a more form-fitting diaper across his, pelvis. He originally had wings. I was drawing the setup for the wings right there, because he's still Cupid. I had Cupid in mind, but I'm glad that I didn't go with the wings eventually, as you can see, because I wasn't really feeling the bow aesthetic and the curly hair aesthetic. It's more of a more mature Valentine's themed boy, teenager that we have here. That being said, I'm really going in right now. I'm feeling the piece now. The characters coming out. I'm a lot more confident with my line work. I don't have to be so light and gesturally. I could kind of like I can kind of go to his pace, like he's telling me who he is, and I could match his speed of what he's telling me. Right here, I do figure out the arm placement. I'm gonna go with a lowered arm, just because I don't want him to be in a violent position, like a defensive stance. I just wanted him to be open. No violence in this photo, just something cutesy. I decided to go, it's kind of like a back bling. I decided to go with a huge ribbon in the back because it really silhouettes him well. I'm struggling with his left hand because it was too popped out, but I don't know, it just never felt organic. Sometimes I draw things and it doesn't feel organic, and I just have to move on and go with the default choice, and even if it's not as satisfying as something that I could be, but the face is as the best as it could be, so that little hand doesn't matter too much to me. And other than that, I mean, I'm just trying to be a character designer, so I don't know, just the gist of it. It's not the final product. If it was a final product, I would actually this piece took me 5.5 hours, but if it was the final, like the actual thing, it would take me close to 10.5 hours if I was actually going in with details and scaling correct and all that stuff. But this is just just to show you guys what my art style is, what I like to draw, how I like to do it, all this stuff. Right here I transitioned into my tablet, and this is in my opinion, kind of a boring part, but before I like to go in with those thick pen lines, like the outlines, I like to outline the initial scanned drawing with a regular pencil brush, and not too dark of a pencil brush either, because I like to, I don't know, it just it solidifies, it helps me it guides me as to where the thick lines are going to be. I don't know, like if you skip this step, it's a more of a guessing game, but this one really helps highlight where the black lines are going to be later. But yeah, I enjoy this process a lot because it's a lot less stressful. I'm basically tracing, and when a lot of people are starting off, tracing is almost like a gimmick, but it's actually really fun, you know. That's how I started off too. I was like 10 years old tracing Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, all that stuff, and I felt really, really cool. But then everybody would tell me that, oh, it's not real art, you're just tracing, bro. And I don't know, just it felt like I was in the shoes of the artist who drew Baby Luigi and Baby Mario. You know what I mean? Like, it was like a glimpse into his mindset, and I think that's important for, you know, drawing your own characters. So when I do this step with the pencil, and I go back and forth to see if it's correct or not, it just reminds me of why I like to draw in the first place. I just like the mindset of it. It's really I just like the organic feel of it, and the muscle memory that you build in your hands. You reach a point where it's really satisfying to not be able to think and just let your hand, you know what I mean, become like a tool for you to just to do what you want, you know, without having to struggle too much. It just goes with the flow. That being said, even though this is the most fun part, it is the most boring part in my opinion, because watching it, I'm just like, I don't know, it's just I guess it's kind of interesting. I'm reinforcing the initial sketch, which is really important. This is actually a really important step. I don't know why I'm talking down so much about it. But anyways, yeah, I went with these big ribbon ideas. You're gonna see with more of my drawings, I kind of have like the same aesthetic, but just or the same kind of gimmicks, just back and forth. I'm kind of leaning over right here because I got tired and had to lock in right here with because this wasn't in the initial sketch. I had to come up with these little ribbons myself, freehand it, and I'm not really used to freehanding it on tablet. That's why I draw on pencil and paper first, and then I switch to tablet. But him already being like the initial sketch really helps out with just freehanding it for these little props, you know, like the ribbons and the bows. Yeah, I thought these bands around his arms and legs were really almost like a mature placement, like it's like more of a 18 plus type of Valentine's feel, not really like a, you know, what Valentine should be, right? 18 plus, you know, couples, all that stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought they looked aesthetically pleasing in that sense. And he's like a little cherub, so I don't know. It's really cool. Yeah, I do some bows on the feet too. I didn't have any plans for the feet. I usually do really big feet, kind of like Sora from Kingdom Hearts. But for this one, the small feet fits the Valentine's you know, feeling of it all, and it tapers away from the center. The centerpiece is really like the main focal point. I mean, the face is the main focal point, but the centerpiece kind of guides your eyes toward the face, and having big shoes or big feet would kind of like interject from your eye's path toward the face. So I decided to do small little tapered feet that leads into the face, which is the focal point. Okay, right here, now I'm starting in with the inking step, and this step, it looks, in my opinion, the best, like to watch. However, it is the hardest step because it's so sensitive. Like the mind, I don't know how to explain it. If the line is too thick or if it's too jagged, I have to go again, and sometimes I go again and again and again. And especially with these eyes, I have to be very delicate, but at the same time, not too delicate. I have to put in a lot of like just the right amount of pressure, so the lines actually do pop and stand out. Or else I'm gonna have to redo it, and it could potentially ruin the whole thing. It's just very time consuming, but I love watching it. After it's done, this is like the satisfying part, because you could actually see like the character coming out. And he looks really cool. I really like how his face turned out. He looks kind of like almost like a soldier boy, like a soldier kid, like he has a commander as a dad or something, and he's like you know, coming up in his father's Valentine's army or something. You know, he just looks very serious, and I really enjoy that part of him. Okay, sorry, my screen just lagged out for a second. Anyways. I'm trying to think of what to say about his neck bow, because he has a ribbon around his neck, but I didn't end up doing a bow behind his neck, because it would just clash with the ribbon in the back, and having too many details like that, too many little accessories, even though it does make sense, and sometimes people like it better when things make sense and they don't like it when it doesn't make sense, but I'm an organic drawer. That's, I'm a Taurus, so I'd rather have it feel aesthetically pleasing, and having a bow behind his neck would be way too much clutter. And so that's some of the decisions that I have to make as an artist to edit out as I'm trying to make this piece or this character. Yeah, you can see me going back and forth over the same lines over and over and over, because it's not the right path. Like a lot of these times when I'm doing inking, I'm trying to take the right path and the right pressure, the pen pressure, and yeah, it's really satisfying once it's on there. Yeah, and I go back and forth to check to see how it's turning out, because the drawing on the bottom isn't going to be in the final presentation. It's just it's like the foundation of it, the guide. Yeah, a lot of my inspiration for my body type is from Naruto and Sora or Cloud from Kingdom Hearts, because these characters don't have like a lot of muscles, and a lot of the time they seem very like animatable or very flexible, and I really like that. It allows my characters and my character designs to have a lot more precision if they choose to be animated, or if they choose to, like, the character looks like he'll move fast, like he has no problem with moving fast. I don't know, I prefer that over something more muscular, but I do like drawing muscular things from time to time if it fits the what I'm going for. Yeah, these bows are turning out really good. I really enjoyed this process of drawing all these tiny little bows. This big ribbon, it's a big line. I had to really focus on that one. But with the diaper, not as you could see, I'm not assuming what you could do, but my art presentation is very flow. My art teacher used to call me swoopy. I'm like a swoopy artist. I like to do these these swoops, these long swoops, and I guess he's right, but I don't know, there's something so satisfying about drawing that way, and I'm not hating on it, it's just what it is, I like it, so I just I like drawing all these swoops. It's kind of like my thing. I try to draw in other styles a little bit more like frantic, or a little bit more jagged, or bold and brash, and I just can't. Organically, like I said, I'm a Taurus. Organically, I'm just more attracted to swoops rather than other things. But I do have techniques in other areas that I do not swoops. But for the most part, yeah, I love swoops. It's almost like a curve, It's what's it called? Alluring, or not alluring? It's like a seductive, like these swoops. Yeah, it's intimate. They're kind of charming you, or they're appealing to your senses, these curved lines, because that's all drawing really is just a bunch of lines, right, that you put together, and these curved lines are, in my opinion, well, at least for me, I found them very appealing. A lot of these ribbons, I'm kind of BSing in a way, because I'm hoping that the audience doesn't see like how slap haphazard I place them. You know, they're not really that important. They're just little, I guess they are, they're details. And if this was like a more detailed painting, I'd spend way more time getting them correct. But for now, I'm just, you know, I have the gist on. So I'm one of those artists that when you get like the fun part, the gist out of the way, the face, you know, the body shape, I kind of make everything else. I kind of just don't spend as much time on it, which is selfish of me, but I just I mean, this is just for fun. It's just for YouTube. I don't plan on making any money off this. I just plan to share with you guys my art, and you know, if you guys like it, or if you guys have, you know, want to share your art or your suggestions of how to make this better or whatever, you know, just your thoughts on it. You know, that's what this is all for. I've been going through a lot of therapy lately, and I've kind of because I've been enjoying my whole life, but I was really shy, you know, to make YouTube videos. But going through therapy really helped me understand kind of a different outlook on how I see myself now. I don't see myself as like not really like an important person, but like I'm over myself. Like I'm over my ego. I just, you know, I'm here. I just want to we're all here. I just want to experience you know, showcase each other what we got, you know, our cool talents and our cool ideas and all that stuff. Yeah, I know a lot of people are like that, but I don't know, just in today's age we have a hard time getting through that barrier, which is really annoying. But I don't know, this is my first attempt at it, and yes, it's like it comes across as really amateur, you know, like you can see half my desk on the screen, like it's really but I don't know, I just for those of you who get it, like they don't judge like, oh, this isn't as professional as I want to. Who cares, bro? It's just a drawing of a cool kid that I drew. Like it's not that deep. I mean, I do plan on being a character artist, but the companies don't require me to record it. Right here, I'm adjusting his head size because I thought his head was too big. And if you do reduce head size, he looks more mature, more older. And, you know, this is a more, like, explicit piece, so I didn't want him to look so young, like 15, 16. I wanted him to look 18, but I really enjoyed the head size. And, you know, it's only inappropriate if you feel like it's inappropriate. That's just weird. He looks like a character from a different world, from a holiday planet, you know, like, where his, you know, he's just part of like the Valentine's army, and it doesn't have to be violent. It could just, you know, it's just what it is. So I decided to go with the younger approach. It looks more fine art or highbrow, if you will. Oh, let's talk about the colors. Yeah, when I start a piece, obviously it's in black and white, but I always have the colors in mind. But when I'm drawing it, I still see it in black and white. So when I put the colors on, like during this stage, it's really satisfying for me because I'm like, yeah, this looks really good. Like this is what I will initially plan to look like in the first place. However, the hair is usually the hardest part because it comes out too dark or too light, or even the wrong color in general. And I'm like, wow, if it's the wrong color, what am I supposed to switch it to? Like I have to experiment a little. That's why you saw blonde there for a second, but no, I didn't go with blonde. I kind of default to blonde a lot. Oh, right here, yeah. But I go back to brown because I don't know, brown is like, you know, chocolates, Valentine's, all that stuff. It looks really like it matches his tame soul, his tame spirit. And him being tame is kind of a reflection of my soul right now, you know. Like I've said, I've been going through therapy, and I can see that definitely reflected in my art too. A lot of my pieces look more you know, more controlled as a people, you know. Just it also has some joy because look at these pops of pink, you know, this beautiful color, you know. So it's a combination of both. Yeah, I really like how his hair turned out. It kind of reminds me of like Troy Bolton or something, like his color palette, or Sora, you know. But yeah, I've always liked like brown hair and blue eyes. It looks really it looks easy for an excuse to call it highbrow. Anyways, let me talk more about the art. This is the shading process. I have a hard time coloring. I don't know if I should use the brush tool, pencil tool, any of that, but for me, I guess I use like a makeup technique where I use the airbrush and I kind of like do the creases, and I layer it with different skin tones over each other in like a pink, like a blush in areas. But I know that it's important to use cuts too, so later on I go with shadows, and I try to cut this kind of like it's too blended. Like the makeup aspect of it is too blended. You have to have like more structure, so I go in later, but that's usually how I do it. Yeah. right here I'm going with the eyes. This is one of my favorite parts, the face and the eyes, because I like to build up things. That's one of the things I love most about drawing, is building it up. So I like to start with the lightest color and then build up the edges, and the darker I get, the smaller it gets, like the area that I darken, which I don't think you're supposed to do. I think you're supposed to, like, look at a reference and kind of do it organically to the light, wherever the light source is. But I don't know, I've always liked it like this, and that's why I think I'm just gonna be a character artist, because I don't know, doing all that light stuff and whatever, it's a lot, and I don't think right, at least for right now, I guess I could do it, but this is just for fun, and I don't have the patience for it. I'm just going with the flow, and my flow just is, just a nice simple eye, dark on top, light on bottom. Although sometimes it looks good when it's dark on bottom and light on top. I don't know. Moving on to the hair, I like to put in some dark areas to let the hair pop out. Nothing too special, but I like watching it come together. It looks really you can start to see the character come to life. Oh, right here I put the shadows for the hair crease, but I don't do shadows from the body until way later. And this is a funny story. I wasn't actually planning on detailing him this much. I was just gonna do, because what I usually do with character designs, if I want to do them fast, is I just do initial color and then shadow. But this time I actually did decide to give him dimension with this blushes and these you see the skin tones right there, yeah, in the darker areas, like all this blending. And I actually think it's worth it, because I guess I like the character so much that I just went for it. But I knew that I had a gargantuan task ahead of me, because there's a lot to blend into value, scale, and all that stuff here. Dang, this song is really loud. Alright, right here I switched the camera angle because this is a different day. I had to stop. I was drawing for like 3.5 hours already, so I decided to do this the next day, and I watched the video and I saw that it was really dark, like too bright, and so today I decided to record it with the lights off, and it looked way better. Like, it looks way more concentrated, and you can actually see his face better and his position better. But yeah, right here I go on the line layer, or the vector line layer, and I kind of like highlight it, and then I go back to my skin layer, and then I could draw the skin however I want, and I don't have to worry about messing up the rest of the piece and being so detailed with it. And I just keep doing that, rinse, wash, repeat, go to the arms, ribbons, all that stuff. But yeah, this is the part I was talking about. If I'm gonna color him, it has to be a little tedious process, like back and forth. But that's the job, not everything about drawing is supposed to be fun, but the fun part is that, taking a step back when you're done with it, all this tedium, 2.5 hours of nonstop repeating, drawing value scale, back and forth, and then you take a step back and it looks really good, and you can be satisfied with it. And that satisfying is kind of like a emotion that I like to chase, that satisfaction. But sometimes when I'm in it and I'm on like the 27th bow, I'm like, wow, this is like, you gain the muscle memory, and by now I'm 28 years old. I have pretty strong muscle memory of all this stuff, so I can go pretty fast. But I understand why people get frustrated with drawing, because it is not, it's annoying. Like, you have to really like have a passion for it, because all this stuff, these light, I'm just going in, I start off lighter and then go a little darker and then a little darker and then a little darker, but you can kind of find shortcuts, you could skip a step or two. But yeah, at first when you start off, it is rough, man. Because even I, the thing that pulled me through this drawing was I knew I was going to post it to YouTube, so I was like, you know what, because sometimes I just go halfway and I just don't care, because it's just for me or my portfolio, or not. I mean, for my portfolio is different, I actually do finish them, but for this one I don't think is going to be in my portfolio. He's too naked. I don't know, I didn't want him to be like, I didn't want the clothes to be so naked in my portfolio. I guess I could put it in, or they could just watch this video later. But since it was YouTube, I did actually like go out of my way to detail everything. But with my professional work, I'll show you guys later in a different video. I'm writing a book called Brayden with this little like 7-year-old, and gosh, like, he's really like, one face drawing takes me, I'm not even kidding, like 3.5 hours, like 2.5 to 3.5 hours just for the face alone, and like the clothes, and it's crazy. and that's 78 pages, and each page has like 12 panels, 5 to 6 panels, you know, and every panel has like, you know, 2 or 3 faces, so it's a lot of work. But yeah, for this I found it easier. It's not as detailed, but for YouTube I think it turned out pretty good. You know, you get the gist of the character, which I really enjoy. Right here I was trying to see how the ribbons were going to turn out, you know, experiment with the color palette of it, and I think I ended up picking good colors for the value scale. You kind of see like the muscles right there, this rib cage. That's one thing I like about being a Taurus, is like it's a lot of intuition the way I draw. Like, I don't really study anatomy, but I mean, you draw characters so much that eventually you just understand the anatomy of your characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, this may not be like the anatomy. Like, I never took like lessons or whatever. I just have an eye for it. I don't know. And it's not even that difficult. I mean, you see like the dark value scale, that really tells you like the structure and the form of the thing. It's kind of cheating. Like if it's really not that deep if you pull it apart. But yeah, I really like how he's turning out. It looks very Valentine's, and I never really like celebrated the holiday. Never really like, you know, participated. But I don't know. I really like the merchandise and the aesthetic, and I wish there was more of it. I wish there was more movies, but not like corny rom-coms. I mean, they're great, but I want like some fantasy Valentine stuff, you know, like some Mario aesthetic Valentine stuff, you know. It's just, so I really like how this drawing's turning out, because we need more of that stuff. And yeah, right here, the ribbon, I love how it's turning out. It was turning out so like bubbly, you know, like so plump. That's one of my favorite things about Nintendo, is like a lot of their stuff looks so plump and voluptuous, and I think that's that really feeds like my aesthetic. I really try to like strive for things like that, and so I really like how that ribbon turned out in the back. Is just nice and plump on the right shoulder right there. But yeah, this is the part I was talking about, the tedium, which is doing little ribbons over and over and doing the next one and the next one. It's not like too difficult, it's just tedium, right? Like tedious or whatever. Yeah, and looking back on this, I did draw these a little too dark. I should have gone with more color and less of a black in the color palette, but I noticed that later and I kind of adjusted to it, but I think it's for this it's fine. But yeah, it did kind of take away some of the pinkness of it all, which is a shame, but you know, it is what it is. I could always like saturate it later. It's a really chill song. Yeah, I decided to do some ribbons hanging off of, you know, the initial tie, because if you don't have those there, it doesn't look complete or whatever. It doesn't look like it's attached to anything. And him having these ribbons like kind of like stringed out like that, I like to imagine it makes him look like he can run, or like imagine him like jumping like very high in the air doing flips. Those little ribbons would be like so satisfying to watch, like flail around, you know what I mean? And yeah, it just adds a lot of movement to his character and a lot of personality. But yeah, I don't know what pose he's in. I don't know if he's like in a stopped pose, or if he's like, I don't know, he's just like almost like a Mickey Mouse pose. I don't know. I just like to keep it very modern Nintendo, modern, you know, Disney, Kingdom Hearts. I just like you know how Mario, when he runs, he puts his arms, like he sticks his arms out, his little hands out like that. I really like that. But for him, yeah, I guess I should have put the left arm a little bit, or the left hand like holding something, or like, I don't know, just not open like that. It doesn't fit his character that much, but I don't know, for this, like I said, I'm not really trying too hard. If this was like a professional thing, and I would talk to my boss and be like, yo, like, let's talk about this left hand. Do you like it popped out, or should I pop it, or should I keep it more, you know, more in? And I'm looking at this now, his palm is way too out there, so yeah, that's one of those things where I have to fix. But for a character, like initial character design, this is fine, whatever, who cares? Anyways, yeah, you see what I'm talking about? Like, you see how long this is taking? Like, imagine how long it took me to actually like layer or value scale all these little ribbons. Right here I start to do like more grays on the diaper because I was looking before, it looked too yellow. It's kind of grody, kind of gross, but I needed to match his skin tone, so that's why I went with yellow. But I needed to go back and do the gray, so I'm glad I caught that. Yep, more ribbons. Here we go. One thing I have a difficulty in is switching between vector layer and ribbon layer, like the color layer, because on the vector layer I select the layer, right? That's the one I'm going to draw on, and then I go to the color layer and that's the one I color on. But sometimes I forget to switch because I'm in the flow, right? I'm going back and forth between these three colors, doing the selecting layer and then going back. And then sometimes I draw on the vector layer, the line layer, and I have to go back and like delete the whole thing and then go back on the color layer and fix it like that, or else it like clips with the line art, and it's, I don't know, it's one of those things where you have to like kind of keep in the back of your head, like enter the flow state of. But yeah, I like how it turned out. I like how it's turning out. It looks really I don't know, I could see this as a poster or something, or like a nice little card. And later on you can see me try to make it like a Valentine's card, just for like, you know, maybe I could, if people like the drawing, you know, why not give them like a nice little, oh, happy Valentine's, you know, little card from my YouTube channel, whatever. But mostly he works as his own character. But if this was like an actual movie character, I think I would give him like pants or something. I don't know, just I don't really see him being like this nude the whole movie. Well, actually, maybe that could be interesting, right? Like, who's to say? You know, I'm just thinking about it now. I never really named this guy. I didn't have a name for him. Because I was talking about Zac Efron before, you know, Troy. So I was like, oh, maybe like Roy or something like that, Zach or something. But no, I don't know. Maybe you guys can name him something like really cringy, something really like you know, like kind of like Fire Emblem Marth and stuff like that, like something really, really, really corny and cringy. But that's what I like, you know. I like that corny, cringy stuff. So something like that. Maybe you guys could come up with a name for him. If I could choose a name for him, I would say probably Zach, but not because of Zach. Well, probably because of Zac Efron, yeah. But I don't know. Or Zach. I don't know. Something corny. Yeah, right here I do the dark in the back. Sometimes when you like color things darker in the back, you have to adjust the lighter colors in the front, like the arms and stuff, because you get to see it better with the contrast. And it is annoying because it's like, oh my gosh, I just did all that work on the front, and then just it took me 2 seconds to do the back, but now I have to do the front again. But that's the thing, it's annoying, but you get that satisfying feeling again once you actually, you know, get it right. Yeah, right there, that little voluptuous ribbon needed a little bit more color. That's why I went back to that. And then the ribcage needed a little bit more color too. Okay, let's see what we got here. What are we working on now? Oh, this is the shadow layer time. This is when I go in with shadows, and I don't do them too thick at first because I like to. Too much shadows really it just drowns out the character. Right here I do his collar or his collarbone, and I should not have done that, but I'm used to doing it so much with my other characters, but for him it doesn't fit. But I fix it later, like the very last step. But for now you're just gonna have to suffer with that dark collarbone. But yeah, that's the thing about the shadow layer, it's very sensitive, like it can throw the whole thing off. But if it's too little of shadows, I mean, the whole thing, it doesn't pop enough, or it doesn't feel organic enough. So I'm just I don't know, I need more practice with the shadow layer, but it is a really satisfying layer to watch too, because the character does come to life. Yeah, like with that in his pelvic area, that shadow right there, I don't think it should be there. It doesn't look, it looks weird. Like, why is it so, I guess the diaper pops it out, but because the light source is like there is no such thing, I'm just going with the character design. It looks a little like, it doesn't look finished product ready. Like, it just looks, you know, placeholder ready, which is, like, as I said, who cares. Anyways, yeah, with these, I guess I'm getting kind of like over it, so I go back to the face, you know, because it's the fun part for me. Yeah, I just darken things because as his body's dark now, I start to notice how light his face is, so I have to go back in and darken some things out. Even with his hair right here, I start to put more shadows in, just so he could match the rest of the shadowed body. And the diaper. I could put way more shadows, but I just didn't want to encapsulate the character so much. I just wanted him to be not about the shadows, but about, you know, just the Valentine's, you know, aesthetic. Oh, right here, shadowing the ribbon. Yeah, that really made a difference. Like I could definitely like see the forms, and that's what I was telling you earlier. See, the makeup, the brushes are like makeup, but the shadows tie the forms together, and I find that really satisfying. And I know there's a third layer to it in between shadows and makeup. There's like almost like a hard pencil lines, you know, while you're coloring, but I'm not there yet. I'm just I haven't been drawing digitally for too long, maybe like 2.5 years. But I see other people, they really know how to color very well, sometimes too well. Like sometimes it takes away from the whole piece, and I think that it's like it takes away from the character. It's just like, dude, you're just trying to like, I don't know, it's not worth it. Like it's just one character. But yeah, I guess they're more professional than I am. They have more patience, which I should practice more. Guess I'm just hating. Super cringy song. It does not fit at all, but I don't know, I like the cringy crap. Oh, right here. I knew that I was gonna do a Valentine's card, right? And I knew that he needed a yellow circle behind him, because he would like just blend in with let's say a red or a pink Valentine's card. So I really enjoyed this red bubble that I put behind him. I thought it made it look very graphic. And then right here I do the card. Initially I just want to do a regular card, but you can see that I couldn't get into the mindset of it because I was so tired. It takes a lot of your energy and a lot of your focus drawing the initial character. That's why I think it's important for companies to have a character designer and then like a graphic designer, you know, like they could do all this graphic stuff, right? Because it's the same job. Like it takes so much of your energy away. So I just decided to write Valentine. Now here I wasn't gonna hard commit, because if I actually hard committed, I would actually do it like in cursive and like really spend my time with it. But this is my first video, and I was really excited to get it out to you guys. So I just kind of like BS my way through this graphic design part, but I wanted to see how it would turn out, like the Valentines, like Be My Valentines or something like that. And I actually did like, I actually probably will, like if I ever get a website or some merch, I actually will do the Be My Valentine option for this thing, you know, like a card. It'll probably be out by February, you know what I mean? Like I'll probably have enough money saved up by then to start a website and start sending out like cool little postcards and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to see what I was looking at. But this part really it's not my favorite part, because I just really like drawing. I'm not really a graphic guy. It's like really annoying to me. Not annoying, but just like I get frustrated way easier. Like when someone isn't, you know, hasn't been drawing their whole life, they just get frustrated way easier. And that's me. I haven't been graphic designing my whole life, so I just get frustrated more easily. But yeah, I decided like it actually does look good, like not too bad. So I decided to go with the heart card instead of a square card, because I decided like let me put a little bit of effort in, right? But I couldn't get the heart shape right, so I did a small heart instead, and then I just expand it, and then you'll see. I just wanted to see how it turned out, and I actually do like it, but it definitely needs way more work. Like you need like an outside silhouette, you need some whites in there, you need some, I don't know, cast shadows, maybe more like just graphic stuff, right? But that could be later, maybe another video. But just for now, I just wanted to focus on the character, you know what I mean? It's not really, that's like my main focus. But I mean, I could do all this stuff, but my main focus is the character. Yeah, right here I just lighten up the initial thing, and then I just do the heart in red. And then I color it, and I don't know, it looks okay. The Be My Valentine is like corny. It just looks graphic, like a PowerPoint presentation. I don't like it. I want it to be like a cursive, you know, like Valentine's. But for this, I'm like, okay, I could see how it could be successful, but I don't have like 2.5 more hours, right? Like I just wanted to get the thing out, so I kind of move on from it. But yeah, it looks cool. But yeah, I took it all away, you see. And then with the back, I start to go back more focused on the character. Yep. And then right here, I'm messing with the hue and the saturation of the character, because a lot of the times, like that's like one of the most satisfying steps. Is the final step is like that's one of the things I love about graphic stuff or like computer stuff, is that you could really like, I don't know, even though you spent all those hours, this thing takes 2 seconds and it like completely recolors it or retextualizes it or retones it, and it's just so satisfying to see. So it's one of my favorite steps too. And I just wanted to see how the card looked like compared to that. Right here I was done for the day. I just wanted to see how he'd look like against his black background, or red background, or white background. But I think the white's better to see how his face turned out. Yeah, I use CapCut to edit all this, by the way. It's recorded on my iPad. I come back the next day, which is today. Last day, and I noticed that his collarbone, I forgot to fix it, right? And so right here I'm just trying to lighten it up, not too much, you know, just enough so it doesn't like pop out so much. Like he looked like he has such a divot in there, and the thing's off kilter too, like the little muscle thing right there. But like I said, I don't really care. It's just for YouTube. You get the gist. Anyways, yeah, go in the correct layer, and then right here you can see I'm brushing it away, and that's fine enough for me. I move on, even though it's still pretty dark. And I noticed that I mess up on this little pink thing right here. That was what I was talking about earlier, with I colored on the vector layer and not the color layer, so I have to go back and fix it now. Yeah, just quick fix, who cares, just finishing it up. And I also, when I was watching the video last night, as I was editing it, I noticed that he needed a shadow. I don't know, just something to ground the character, you know, like to keep him in place, you know, keep him like quote unquote finished or whatever. So I decided to do a cat shadow behind him, but I didn't know if he was floating or if he was like actually standing. So I started standing first. I'm like, no, that looks weird. He looks like, who would stand like this, right? He does look like he's floating. So I actually do a shadow on the bottom. Yeah, and I go to the layer so I don't clip it. And yeah, it looks, I'm really satisfied with it. I really enjoyed this piece. I don't know what the name of the boy is. Maybe, you know, you guys could help me out with that. But I'll just name him the Valentine's boy, right? Happy Valentine's Day, boy. And yeah, that's the piece. I hope you enjoyed my thought process of it. Hopefully more videos to come soon, you know, but I am trying to get a job as a character design artist, so I have to do a lot of like hello, introduction, here's my stuff, you know. So that's gonna be annoying, but I'll do this for fun, and I do plan on dropping a video like once a week. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. See ya.